Hello and welcome to Ladies Who Question. We are here on a Saturday morning and it's early, but we have a day that could get as high as 80 degrees. Probably not here in Lake Bluff, Illinois, because we're on the North Shore, but it'll be close. I would say probably the 70s, right, Holly?
Oh, yeah. It feels very warm already.
Yeah, which is weird.
Very delightful outside.
April 27th, that's weird.
For 80?
Yes. I mean, that is weird. That could be at the end of May or June. Yeah, for sure. Well, read this headline just before you got here, and it says summer 2024 could be hottest on record. And that's not just for Illinois. It says an increasingly likely La Nina event could mean the U.S. could experience one of the hottest summers on record this year. And here in Illinois, apparently, same. We're not going to get a break.
Right.
So for the Midwest.
What exactly is La Nina?
Okay, I was about to say I will Google that while you expound on whatever you want to talk about, but I just looked deeper into the article. It says, and I'm quoting here, and this is from the National Weather Service, from Patch, during a La Nina event, strong trade winds push warm water towards the U.S. West Coast. Now, you and I both lived in California. We are familiar with La Nina and El Nino. I never really quite understood the difference, even though I did some weather, on TV. I should have probably known that.
Right.
But I was just fell in, okay? Bringing cold water to the ocean surface and pushing the jet stream northward. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, so it creates a pressure on the ocean, so the cold water comes more to the surface.
Okay.
And it pushes the jet stream north, which that would change weather patterns.
Make it hotter. I don't know.
South. And so the cooler weather would go up. And this is from NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Okay, so it says, as a result, a La Nina event often leads to drought in the southern U.S. because it's warmer and the cooler is going higher, right? Because and heavy rains and flooding in the Pacific Northwest, I guess.
Oh, great.
La Nina can also lead to more. I know. I know. Severe hurricane season, increase of chance of a hotter summer in the central and eastern U.S. Okay, we're in the central. We're in the breadbasket, the heart. So,
well, this brings me to a couple things. I thought last summer was one of the hottest summers, not necessarily where we live, but as you remember, it got to like 130 in Palm Springs.
And where was it?
Arizona?
Death Valley.
Death Valley.
That was even hotter than usual.
Number.
Right?
Yeah. I thought that last summer had some really hot spots, but also
records were broken everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
So now weather in general is crazy. We all know that.
Right.
Everything's like off the charts. Extreme. We don't just have what we expect. We have more. I would have thought that hotter weather produces more heat to fill the rain clouds, like evaporation.
You have to have a confluence. You have to meet, like cold has to meet warm, and that creates the turbulence, which creates the
rain clouds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So cold front, warm front, they meet. And when the cold and warm fronts meet, then boom, you have nimbus clouds, cumulonimbus, and then you have thunder and rain and storms.
Got it. Well, when I think of heat waves in Chicago, do you remember the heat wave we had back, I want to say 90s?
It was 94 or 5,
I
wasn't
hadn't
it?
lived here that long.
95, I think.
And the next thing you know, we have semis full of bodies.
Oh, I remember that.
And it was like horrifying to me because I thought, oh my God, they had not enough mortuary space. And that was a hot summer.
Yes.
But
it was Chicago.
It was Chicago.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. Like hundreds of people died.
I'd forgotten about that.
And it was so unreal.
Yeah.
I was like, this is Chicago?
Yeah, there weren't enough refrigerated type
mortuaries ran out of room.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so they had to pile them into.
Oh, it was horrible.
Wow, and I forget why. What was that? Because a lot of not enough people had air conditioning,
right?
And
yeah,
and it not ill prepared, and that's maybe when they started establishing cooling centers.
That's right. I think you're correct on that.
Because maybe there weren't any before.
And checking on people, welfare checks. So the first thing that came to my mind was the cooling business is going to be up big time. People are going to want to make sure they have air conditionings.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That business is going to have a big jump, but
Yeah,
it's
so get
kinda-
on it now.
Yeah, get on it now. And let's figure out how we can prepare for this instead of it's here and people are dying or there's flooding, because you'll know the areas that'll be affected in your part of the country and to prepare now, because I think that all these storms we've had recently, everybody's so ill prepared and hillsides are washing off. Big tidal waves are hitting the coasts. It's crazy.
You would think we would be prepared, right?
Yeah.
At this point, be like on red alert, like, oh no, what's going
Exactly.
to happen next?
It's not going to be a joke where it's like, oh, what about that heat wave? Never happened. No, let's get ready for it and figure out what we can do to be proactive.
Well, that's a good reminder about what happened in 1995.
Yeah, that was eerie, to say the least. Will La Nina produce more flooding?
Well, I mean, couldn't El Nino too? Let me see if they talk about. No, in this article they don't talk about anything with El Nino. I'm gonna just, while we're live here, El Nino.
I meant La Nina.
I know, but I'm looking about what El Nino does. What is El Nino? Effects of El Nino. What is El Nino and why should you care? Okay. This is from a website called Cool Earth. You might have heard of it before. If not, we've got you covered. It's a climate pattern that drives year-to-year variation in global surface temperature and long-term warming trends. Okay. Trade winds normally blow across the Pacific Ocean, help move warm water from South America towards Asia. Oh, also driving upwelling of water process. El Nino weakens these trade winds, disrupts this movement of warm water, causing warm and dry conditions in some areas and drenching others with rain and flooding. Okay, well, so La Nina does that too.
They just alternate like the names of hurricanes. 1 year it's, I know there's a difference.
There's a difference, but that's what I'm trying to, what it means to us. Okay, it says, when El Nino countries in the Southwest Pacific, like Indonesia, Northern Australia, Papua New Guinea, extreme drought and warming. But what does it mean for the U.S.? Okay, I don't know. I guess I'm not as prepared as I should be for this, for sure.
It is global terminology, so I guess other countries use these terms as well.
Yeah. Okay, El Nino for the U.S. Okay.
What's the bottom line here?
I found this is from climate.gov. El Nino and La Nina have their strongest influence on U.S. seasonal climate in winter. Upstream of the United States, the Pacific Jet Stream strengthens and carries more storms across the U.S. South. But which one is that, favoring cooler, wetter winters? Which one is it? Is it El Nino or La Nina?
I have no idea, but I think it's La Nina. You know why? Because we had such a mild winter.
Oh, no, that's what we had, right? You're saying?
Right. So maybe that was the beginning of it. Mm-hmm. Because our winter was extremely mild here in the Midwest.
I feel like this has never really been that well explained.
Yeah, it's kind of a vague. I just pulled up some information that La Nina events occur every 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
But that's nothing. Okay.
Yeah, and this one says La Nina events typically occur every 2 to 7 years on average in the last 9 to 12 months. So anyway, whatever the difference is between El Nino and La Nina, we're going to have a hot summer.
Right.
The U.S.
Everywhere. The U.S. So
And here in the Midwest, especially, apparently.
a light bulb just went off. We're probably going to have a hot summer worldwide. Mm-hmm. The Olympics. It's going to be hot.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see anything about Europe here, but oh, yeah.
Doesn't it affect the whole world or just?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a whole other ocean,
That's
I mean,
true.
yeah, it could. Sure. The winds can continue to move, eastward, but that Atlantic Ocean it's a cold ocean, and that changes
buffer.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could.
I don't know. Boy, we are way over our skis
We
here,
got
man.
way down. So why don't you send us your questions or information that you might have about
Ooh,
it
that
and
would be
what you've
good.
experienced living through La Nina and El Nino and
Cooling tips.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Cooling
let's
tips.
prepare.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Rough start there, folks. But we've got other good stuff. We'll be right back.
Cicadas are coming. The cicadas are coming. Doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, and they are, because I saw something. I read something earlier this week, and then I saw something this morning about in South Carolina.
Okay, that's where it was. I saw
Yeah,
it too.
people, they had either forgotten or they didn't recognize or they didn't remember or who knows. They thought sirens were going off
Oh my God.
and they were the cicadas.
Oh, geez.
Is that what you heard about? Or
I just saw them coming up from the ground.
in your house?
No, on
Oh,
TV.
oh, okay.
I think it was Good Morning America. I think it was the same story.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know where they were coming from. And also,
They're starting down there.
I start thinking they're so prehistoric
Yeah.
because it's like 17 years they've been down there, or 7 years.
Well, some have been 13, some have been 17.
Yeah. So they've been down there waiting for their appearance to be birthed, whatever, until now. And I go, wow, that's like so weird.
It is weird. It's really, and I like their big orange eyes. I think it's cool. I like them. The big old bug eyes. They're orange, bright red or bright orange. Anyway, so yes,
They're coming. So that means we'll be getting them in a couple weeks. Is it kind of the weather?
I had heard mid-May they're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Countdown. So we'll get some photos.
Yeah. Cicadas are coming. Cicadas are coming. Cicadas are coming. Hey, we're back and we are delving into the world of sports. Women's sports?
Women's
Or
sports, collegiate sports.
Oh, collegiate women's sports. Okay.
Yep.
And I'm not prepared for this. So you're going to just, it's going to be a bounce back and forth or
Yep.
whatever.
It should be a volley.
Okay.
And so
A what?
a volley.
Oh, volley.
Well, we're going to talk about women's sports and trans women in women's sports.
that's
And
that's always a good topic.
it's a big can of worms, and there's no right or wrong. We would love your feedback.
there?
Well, we have our opinions.
We have
of
our
that,
opinions,
but
yeah.
it's again a really big gray area.
Mm-hmm.
So, Independent Women's Forum, and what they are, they're trying to protect women's sports and not allowing trans women.
So this is an organization.
It's an organization. It's the NCAA Board of Governors that's formed a group of women that have formed a coalition to protect women's sports. By allowing trans women on a women's team, it denies biological women from roster spots, playing time opportunities to compete. Well, that's just the tip
it
of the
denies them?
Right, by allowing trans women.
Oh, by allowing.
By allowing trans
you mean
women.
it denies them the slot. So they
Denies women, biological women, basic stuff.
by allowing trans women who are men who are trying to become women or whatever
Right.
in sports. Okay, they're saying that
Correct.
it's edging them out. Okay.
Right. So they really want to get a handle on this to make the playing field fair, shall we say. So it's a big can of worms. So basically, I have two scientists that have, given their opinion on it, which is kind of interesting, and it's very long and very analytical.
Well, just say
But-
who the scientists are and what their credentials are. That's really all we would need if you're going to proffer
okay.
their opinions.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Ross Tucker and Joanna Harper. And Joanna Harper is a trans woman
Okay, but
scientist.
and
And
then who's the other guy?
Ross Tucker
And that he is or she or whatever is
is a male scientist, and they're basically debating this topic from a scientific standpoint.
Okay.
Which I found was really interesting. It's based on science versus opinions. It's just how they base their opinions.
well, I think that's a good ground floor from which to start a conversation with the science. Because opinions are easy.
Yes, opinions are easy, and we definitely have our own opinions on this. It has to do a lot with testosterone and how much they have, and which I don't really understand a lot on that area.
Well, because some males are born with more estrogen. Some women are born with more testosterone.
Okay.
And on a side note, quick
see.
side note, without
Yeah.
getting diverted, I listened to an incredibly thorough, which I'm going to forward you, podcast from this particular physician who deals with all manner of healthy approaches to life regarding the effects of pesticides, herbicides, bad food, junk food, air pollution, water pollution, toxins into what I've talked about for a long, long time, and the effects on the endocrine system and determining testosterone and estrogen levels and how one tilts and this and that, and even body fat, how it tilts men and women in different ways with their body fat to produce certain hormones. So this whole thing, it's a miasma of explanations and mess. So I guess I went off on a tangent there.
No.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, let's go at it from a science standpoint because it's about biology. It's about our endocrine systems, our reproductive systems. It's about the effects of what we're doing to ourselves, and self-imposed or not, passively, involuntarily, that may create this. Okay, so go on.
Well, I'm just going to read some excerpts from this debate, and hopefully some of this will make sense. So they have a question. Should transgender women be banned from women's sports? Tucker is Ross Tucker. He's one of the scientists. Says,
and he's the one who's just a male scientist.
He's biological male.
Got it.
And I think they're both fairly matched. The point of women's category is to exclude male advantage, which comes as a result of testosterone. Until it can be shown that that advantage doesn't persist or exist in trans women, then I would say there's no basis to allow trans women in, because they can't scientifically show that for every single person.
Can't they through any kind of testing, blood testing, hormone testing, spit testing, where you can find hormone? Anyway, I don't know.
The point of all that is, if there were no evidence at all, I would say an exclusion policy would be the prudent starting point. However, they do have a study on 13 student studies. They have 13 studies that show significant retained advantage, where the biological male trans woman has an advantage in all these 13 studies.
Interesting.
I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah, but that's interesting. That's 13 different studies. I don't know the depth and breadth of those studies or how big a cohort or anything, but it's interesting. There's a leaping off point.
Right. Then Harper says...
Harper is
He is a trans woman.
So he was a male turning to... Okay. This gets confusing. That's why I'm trying to just...
I know. I shouldn't... It didn't really matter what they were biologically, each of these scientists, but I just did...
I guess not.
Throw it in there that Harper is a trans woman.
Okay. No, I think it's important actually too, because they're coming from different places, but they're still presenting scientific information.
Right. Well, Harper thinks that the science is in its infancy and we are not going to have definitive answers for 20 years.
Okay.
That sounds kind of crazy. For instance, World Athletes has said that once transgender women reduce testosterone for 12 months, they should be allowed in. That's not a perfect policy. Nobody's saying that. But World Athletes have said that it's the best we can do with what's available from science.
Okay, well, that just seems to fall short because they've already attained the musculature that they would need as a man, because men just have more. I mean, men who are full biological males have more developed musculature than women. Most women. I mean, I'll take Serena Williams out of that because she is, or in Venus, because they were both really like, good God, like bodybuilders, but they were an exception. I've never seen a woman like that playing a sport like that.
But I think because what they did to the sport was to work out more than any other women. Like they did weights, and they started almost what men do in their field of tennis. Yeah. Women never were working out like that, to that extreme. But that's what made them so great at their sport.
And naturally gifted.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So basically, what Harper thinks is, he thinks that there is a more responsible approach than either saying there shouldn't be any restrictions on trans women or we shouldn't let trans women in until we know for certain.
And that's not for 20 years.
Right. They do both agree there should be a separate category, which I never.
That's what I'm for.
That's what we're always talking about. And
that's a solution for the next 20 years.
Right. Until there could be a black and white decision on what's fair is fair, let's have a separate category.
That seems like a compromise to me.
I think so too. And there's so many other things to think about. For example, injuries. So it's been proven that when trans women play sports, and in basketball, there have been a few college athletes injured because the power of the male is so much more when they're knocked down or it's a physical sport, basketball. And
Wait, women are playing with men in
trans women are playing in college basketball.
they are?
Yeah. And they are
With women.
with women.
Okay, I
Wait, maybe it's high school. It could be high school. It could be college, but I think it's high school. You're right. And they've injured these girls.
okay, so trans women, that means women, men, boys, if they're in high school, they're boys who are playing on the women's team, but they say, no, I'm a trans. They are injuring women.
Yes, there's
Or
been
girls, whatever.
two women that have been injured from playing basketball with trans women.
Okay, and these are injuries that would not have been sustained,
Correct.
most likely from another woman.
Right, exactly. Physical sports, we're going to lose. I mean,
Yeah.
if they get into that. Also, field hockey, if trans women are allowed to play that sport, they can throw the ball in field hockey at almost at 90 miles an hour, where a woman cannot protect herself with the equipment they wear if they're hit by something like that. And they can't throw it half as fast as a man. And so, again, that's another physical sport that I think physical sports as a whole should be a category that they really need to look at.
Did you say field hockey? There you said you mean hit it. You mean not? You said throw.
Well, I meant, what's the other sport? Lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse. Well, that
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
Lacrosse.
I'm getting so confused.
Or, yeah, lacrosse, they could throw it at 90 miles an hour. And in field hockey also, they can hit the puck much harder than a woman.
Yeah.
And I think they should do a whole category on contact sports. Like, that's what needs to be addressed right away, because that could take somebody out.
Well, yeah, that's basketball and football. You know,
Right. Well, I don't know about, there's not a lot of trans.
I don't probably not.
Not.
I don't
Because
think
I don't
so.
even know, is there a women's football league?
No.
Okay. Now, we're just talking about trans women into men's. I have not seen any trans men in men's sports, meaning a woman transing to a man.
Oh no, I haven't.
So-
That's not even really a topic.
I don't even think it's part of the issue.
Because the women know better. They know they can't compete because they know they will be overwhelmed. And that is the basis of the argument. That's why women aren't really trying to, unless there's that errant girl in high school who says, I want to be the place kicker.
Right.
On the,
And she identifies as a female, and
And
she's not transing.
Right.
Right.
Otherwise, I don't see girls or women flocking to be on the boys' game, sports
either.
teams, because they know they're not going to make the team because they're not going to be as good, because they're not as quick or fast or strong, unless there's some rare exception.
Right.
Like, God, remember FloJo, Florence?
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay, she was fast.
Well,
yeah,
she was.
probably
Yeah.
could have competed. But that's a rare exception.
rare
And even then, maybe she would have been beaten out by a male, because maybe he would have been stronger because he's more muscular and he's just got
Exactly.
a stronger butt, stronger thighs, which is what it takes to be a sprinter. So, no, and that's the point.
Right.
So why are males trying to get into women's sports? Oh gosh, so they can play and so they can win.
Okay. That leads me to, they can win.
I'm trying not to make this into an opinion thing, but I'm going by what we just talked about and imposing, let's look at the other side.
Right.
Oh, gee, duh.
Right. Exactly. Well, aside from bumping them from getting scholarships, and if they start allowing this at the collegiate level, what's going to happen if they allow them in the pros? Because usually you go to college, you get a scholarship, you play at the top of your game, and then you're hoping to be on a professional team where there's not a lot of women professional teams, but there's basketball. They could go on to any of the professional sports.
Okay, so let's say for an instance,
Okay.
Indiana Fever or Indianapolis Fever, whatever.
Right.
Caitlin Clark just went. Okay, so all of a sudden, maybe next year, there's some trans guy who wants to get drafted in the women's
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
WNBA. Yeah. Okay. So what?
Right.
Some
Where's it
woman
gonna
doesn't
stop?
get paid into that because he can't make it in the NBA. So, I guess
Right.
I'll go to the WNBA. Well, then what does it turn into? It
Right.
turns into the, oh no, I'm a woman, so it's still the WNBA.
Right.
Is it? Is it?
Exactly.
And
That's,
and it's this is a question we're not going to answer today, but it is something that people need to think about.
Right,
People who care about this issue need to think about.
Right. And these college girls that give up their life starting probably in 5th grade.
You try to hopefully get a scholarship.
And now they're being bumped, they're being injured. And then are they going to be out of play when it comes to pro sports?
Right.
I mean, it's a big can of worms. And I think we need to start making some laws, putting up, figuring this out before it gets too out of hand.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. I got nothing else on this because I'm just...
Everybody understands it. We'd love to hear your opinions.
Yeah, we need opinions.
Because I think there'll be a lot of them.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to come back and got something a little fun. A little light,
fun.
right?
Yeah, a little light and fun.
Good. Be right back. Okay, we're back and we have something fun, something light, something nice, right?
Yeah.
Promise me?
I promise you, this is a fun feel-good.
Okay,
and I love these kind of stories.
I don't want anything else that's heavy.
Okay, here we go. It's a sports story again, coincidentally.
Oh, that's all right. Sports can be very fun.
Walmart employee in, I want to say, the Raleigh, North Carolina area. He is a 25-year-old. His name is Dylan Beard. And he just made the Olympic trials for the 60-meter hurdles. Not only that, when he was in this race to compete to make the Olympic trials, his time was so fast, he came in the 3rd fastest hurdler in the world. Wow. So this is somebody that kind of came out of nowhere, working out on his own, old school coach, working at like a college field with a lot of professional training. He has a full-time job that he plans on keeping. So he will be going to Oregon in, I think it's pretty soon.
For like the world championship or something.
To see if he makes the Olympic team.
Trials.
The Olympic trial team. And so...
how old is he?
25. Everybody's rallying around him. It's like one of those stories that, when you hear the backstories of athletes, they're like so fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of
them. So he's
are.
like a big-time underdog that has a lot of potential, that's never had real professional training, and he works at Walmart in the deli department, and they did a little clip of him doing his work, and it's just really cool.
I wonder if he was a high school standout or track star or something.
I don't know.
He probably was.
Yeah. So
Neat.
Let's root for Dylan Beard, and let's hope he makes the team, and it would be insane if he won a medal.
What's his event again?
60-meter hurdles.
Okay, those are hard.
Oh, this he's got muscles.
You got to be a leaper.
Yeah. Yeah. And so anyways, everybody look for him. His town has raised $25,000 to pay for his expenses.
Aww.
Everybody's rallying. So go Dylan.
Go Dylan. Okay. On that note, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today, and we hope you check out our vault of episodes. We've been doing this for a while now.
Look up a category you're interested in, or send us what you want us to talk about.
Exactly.
Please do.
Yeah, because we're game. Really, I'll talk about anything at all.
Pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Try to be not negative.
Yeah, not negative, but we can find a way to turn something into positive. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful whatever you're doing, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Harvey. Ladies Who Question is executive produced and edited by me, Lisa Dominique, and also executive produced by Holly Caulfield. Holly also does most of our research, and Claire Caulfield is in charge of technical assistance and social media. Music, My Lionheart. Sketch music by Florian Manx and Matthew Anderson. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, follow, rate, and review Ladies Who Question on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Send your thoughts to ladieswhoquestion@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and our website, ladieswhoquestion.com.
All content discussed on Ladies Who Question are the opinions of Lisa Dominique and Holly Caulfield and should not be construed as advice of any kind. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as advice of any personal or medical issue for yourself or others. This disclaimer also applies to guests or contributors to the podcast.